Okay guys, in this video we're going to be checking out the Catalyst Machineworks Merica 5, and a few days ago I did a video on the Merica 4-inch frame, and essentially the only difference here between the 4-inch and 5-inch frame is that I'm now using the bottom base here, the 5-inch base with different motors and ESCs, but the top canopy is exactly the same. This pod here that contains the FPV system and the flight controller. Basically, you have your FPV camera, your, in this case, I have a flight controller with a video transmitter combo, and my receiver here, as well as my video transmitter antenna, all contained in this pod. And so all I did was I just transferred the pod from the 4-inch base, which I did that video, and I put a card in the corner in case you missed that video. This is the 4-inch base here with a different set of motors and different ESCs. This happens to be the HGLRC 1407 3600 kV motors with some HQ 4-inch props, and I have a 28 amp 4-in-1 ESC here on this particular build. But check out that video if you want details on this base. And all I did is I just took the pod off of here, and it just comes on, just tightens on with these screws here. They're all compatible with the bases, are all compatible with each other, and I just transferred it over to the 5-inch base. So if you want more details on the pod, watch that video. I do show some photos and stuff of what it looks like inside. Basically, for the 5-inch, you have the 5-inch base and similar, basically the same design here. You got the staggered arms, lower front arms and higher rear arms, and I'm using some different motors here. Obviously, for the 5-inch setup, these are the new HGLRC Flame 2306 2450 kV motors, and I can tell you right now that this motor is very nice. Flew with just the stock Betaflight PIDs, and didn't have to tune it at all with these Gemfan 5149 props. And you can see what these look like here. These are the new Popo props, but these motors aren't part of that system. I guess it's called pop-on, pop-off system, but it does obviously work with a standard lock nut, of course. And this, you can see the shape of the prop's a little bit different here, a little bit thinner here at the hub compared to the 5152, and I think it's a little bit lighter as well. But I think this combination worked out pretty well with this frame, or this base, with these motors and props. I didn't have to do any tuning because I just basically had to tune for the 4-inch setup on PID Profile 1, and then I went to PID Profile 2, which was on the default setup, default Betaflight PIDs, and I went and flew it, and I didn't have to do any tuning at all. So in case you're wondering, you'll see that in the flight demo. You'll see that the PIDs aren't changed at all. And if you want to copy and duplicate this setup and not have to do any tuning, this is actually a really good setup to put together if you don't want to do any tuning. Now in this base I am using a different 4-in-1 EC. It's a bigger size, it's 30 by 30 size, and it's a 30 amp a 4-in-1 ESC BLS. I think it's a Hack RC 30 amp ESC, although I think maybe going a little bit bigger might not be a bad idea. Maybe get the 40 amp instead of the 30 amp, although I didn't have any issues with the 30 amp on this particular setup. But I'm not really a racer, so I'm not like pushing the machine to its absolute limits. I am flying it fairly hard, at least for my flying skills, but I think if you are a racer, you might want to go with a 40 amp instead of a 30 amp, just letting you know. Okay, so just a few measurements here. The arms on this guy are 5mm thick, so probably not going to be breaking an arm too easily unless, of course, anything's possible. And of course, you've got the brace here in the front to give a little bit more support to the front arms. And the front brace itself is about 4mm thick, so yeah, that's going to provide pretty good support there. Now you have these two sandwich plates here, with the one on the bottom is a little bit thinner than the one on the top. So the one on the bottom is about 2mm thick, and the one on the top is about 3mm thick. Okay, you can get the motor-to-motor distance here. It's about 205mm. The side-to-side distance is about 132mm. And the front-to-back distance is about 155mm. So it's a bit of a stretched X frame, and that along with the staggered arms with the front motors being a little bit lower than the rear motors, you're going to get some pretty good prop wash handling in this particular setup. Okay, so the total weight here, without the battery of course, comes in at 267 grams. Anyway, it's enough of me rambling on about this. Overall, I thought this flew extremely well. I was pretty happy with the way this thing turned out with all the parts I chose and the setup, and of course the super easy tuning. And of course you say that you can judge that for yourself in the float demo, which I'll go ahead and I'll roll now. Okay, so I'm just going to go with the default PIDs here. You can see here, this is just the default PIDs that come in Betaflight. I think I'm a 332, I believe. It was very smooth. So far I like these motors. These are the HDLRC 2306 2450 kV motors. And I'm using the Jumpfan P149 props. Pretty nice power. Just kind of cruising around here. Pretty fast. And pretty good tune on just the default PIDs. Not getting a whole lot of prop wash. Probably means that these motors are pretty good. Nicely balanced props as well. This battery is definitely lasting a lot longer than I expected it to. Still at 14.6 at almost 4 minutes of flight. Alright, we got down to about 14 volts there, back to 14.4. I'll try another high-speed pass here. Got below 14 there. It's still recovered back to 14.4 at 4.5 minutes of flight time. This is pretty decent. So I guess these motors are actually kind of efficient. I didn't think I was going to get a flight time this long. I'm still at 14.4. Okay, so I'm going to kill it at about 5 minutes here. I'm sure I could probably go a little bit longer on this battery, but I think I'm pretty happy with this flight. Go ahead and end it.